Good morning. Blessings on day number 109, April 19th. Today we're going to be reading from Joshua 19, 1 through 20, verse 9. The second allotment of land went to the clans of the tribe of Simeon. Their homeland was surrounded by Judah's territory. Simeon's homeland included Beersheba, Sheba, Moladah, Hazar Shual, Bala, Ezem, Eltolad, Bethel, Horman, Ziklag, Beth Markaboth, Hashar Susa, Beth Leboath, and Sharuan. 13 towns with their surrounding villages. It also included Ain, Rimmon, Ether, and Ashan, 4 towns with their villages, including all the surrounding villages as far south as Baalath Beer, also known as Ramah of the Negev. This was the homeland allocated to the clans of the tribes of Simeon. Their allocation of land came part of what had been given to Judah because Judah's territory was too large for them. So the tribe of Simeon received an allocation within the territory of Judah. The third allotment of land went to the clans of the tribe of Zebulun. The boundary of Zebulun's homeland started at Sarid. From there it went west, going past Marala, touching Dabesheth, and proceeding to the brook east of Jokneam. In the other direction, the boundary went east from Sarid to the border of Kislath Tabor, and from there to Daberath and up to Japhia. Then it continued east to Gath Hefer, Eth Kassin, and Rimmon, and turned toward Nea. The northern boundary of Zebulun passed Hanathon and ended at the valley of Ephta El. The towns in these areas included Katath, Nahalal, Shimron, Idalah, and Bethlehem. 12 towns with their surrounding villages. The homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Zebulun included these towns and their surrounding villages. The fourth allotment of land went to the clans of the tribe of Issachar. Its boundaries included the following towns: Jezreel, Kesuloth, Shunem, Hapharim, Shion, Anaharath, Rabith, Kishion, Ebez, Remeth, En-Ganim, En-Haddah, and Beth Pazez. The boundary also touched Tabor, Shahazuma, and Beth Shemesh, ending at the Jordan River, 16 towns with their surrounding villages. The homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Issachar included these towns and their surrounding villages. The fifth allotment of land went to the clans of the tribe of Asher. Its boundaries included these towns: Helkath, Hali, Beten, Akshaph, Alamelech, Amad, and Mishal. The boundary of the west touched Carmel and Shihor Libnath. Then it turned east toward Beth Dagon and ran as far as Zebulun in the valley of Ephta El, going north to Beth Emek and Nael. It then continued north to Kabul, Abdon, Rehob, Haman, Cana, and as far as Greater Sidon. Then the boundary turned toward Ramah and the fortress of Tyre, where it turned toward Hosan and came to the Mediterranean Sea. The territory also included Mehabel, Akzib, Umah, Aphek, and Rehob, 22 towns with their surrounding villages. The homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Asher, including these towns and their surrounding villages. The sixth allotment of land went to the clans of the tribe of Naphtali. Its boundary ran from Heleph, from the oak at Saananim, and extended across the Adami Nekeb, Jabneel, and as far as Lakum, ending at the Jordan River. The western boundary ran past Asnath Tabor, then to Hakok, and touched the border of Zebulun in the south, the border of Asher on the west, and the Jordan River on the east. The fortified towns included in this territory were Zerim, Zer, Hamath, Rakath, Kinnereth, Adamah, Ramah, Hazor, Kadesh, Edrei, and Hazor, Jiron, Migdal El, Horem, Beth Anath, and Beth Shemesh, 19 towns with their surrounding villages. The homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Naphtali included these towns and their surrounding villages. The seventh allotment of land went to the clans of the tribe of Dan. The land allocated as their homeland included the following towns: Zorah, Eshtaol, Ir Shemesh, Shaalabin, Aijalon, Ithla, Elon, Timah, Ekron, Eltekeh, Gibbethon, Baalath, Jehud, Beneberak, Gath, Rimmon, Me Jarkon, Rakan, and the territory across the Joppa. But the tribe of Dan had trouble taking possession of their land, so they attacked the town of Laish. They captured it, slaughtered its people, and settled there. They renamed the town Dan after their ancestor. The homeland allocated to the clans of the tribe of Dan included these towns and their surrounding villages. After all the land was divided among the tribes, the Israelites gave a piece of land to Joshua and as his allocation. For the Lord had said he could have any town he wanted. He chose Timnath Serah in the hill country of Ephraim. He rebuilt the town and lived there. These are the territories that Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the tribal leaders allocated as grants of land to the tribes of Israel by casting sacred lots in the presence of the Lord at the entrance of the tabernacle at Shiloh. So the division of the land was completed. The Lord said to Joshua, "Now tell the Israelites to designate the cities of refuge, as I instructed Moses. Anyone who kills another person accidentally and unintentionally can run to one of these cities. They will be places of refuge from relatives seeking revenge for the person who was killed. Upon reaching one of these cities, the one who caused the death will appear before the elders at the city gate and present his case. They must allow him to enter the city and give him a place to live among them. If the relatives of the victim come to avenge the killing, the leaders must not release the slayer to them, for he killed the other person. Okay. For he killed the other person unintentionally and without previous hostility. But the slayer must stay in that city and be tried by the local assembly, which will render a judgment. And he must continue to live in that city until the death of the high priest who was in office at the time of the accident. After that, he is free to return to his own home in the town from which he fled. The following cities were designated as cities of refuge: Kadesh of Galilee, in the hill country of Naphtali; Shechem, in the hill country of Ephraim; and Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the hill country of Judah. On the east side of the Jordan River, across from Jericho, the following cities were designated: Bezer, in the wilderness plain of the tribe of Reuben; Ramoth in Gilead, in the territory of the tribe of Gad; and Golan in Bashan, in the land of the tribe of Manasseh. These cities were set apart for all the Israelites as well as the foreigners living among them. Anyone who accidentally killed another person could take refuge in one of these cities. In this way, they could escape being killed in revenge prior to standing trial before the local assembly. Luke 19:28-48. After telling his story, Jesus went on toward Jerusalem, walking ahead of his disciples. As he came to the towns of Bethphage and Bethany on the Mount of Olives, he sent 2 disciples ahead. "Go into that village over there," he told them. "As you enter it, you will see a young donkey tied there that no one has ever ridden. Untie it and bring it here. If anyone asks, 'Why are you untying that colt?' just say, 'The Lord needs it.'" So they went and found the colt, just as Jesus had said. And sure enough, as they were untying it, the owners asked them, "Why are you untying that colt?" And the disciples simply replied, "The Lord needs it." So they brought the colt to Jesus and threw the garments over it for him to ride on. As he rode along, the crowd spread out their garments on the road ahead of him. When he reached the place where the road started down the Mount of Olives, all of his followers began to shout and sing as they walked along, praising God for all the wonderful miracles they had seen. "Blessings on the King who comes in the name of the Lord. Peace in heaven and glory in the highest heaven." But some of the Pharisees among the crowd said, "Teacher, rebuke your followers for saying things like that." He replied, "If they kept quiet, the stones along the road will burst into cheers." But as he came closer to Jerusalem and saw the city ahead, he began to weep. "How I wish today that you, of all people, will understand the way to peace. But now it is too late, and peace is hidden from your eyes. Before long, your enemies will build ramparts against your walls and encircle you and close in on you from every side. They will crush you into the ground and your children with you. Your enemies will not leave a single stone in place because you did not recognize it when God visited you." Then Jesus entered the temple and began to drive out the people selling animals for sacrifices. He said to them, "The scriptures declare, 'My temple will be a house of prayer,' but you have turned it into a den of thieves." After that, he taught daily in the temple. But the leading priests, the teachers of religious law, and the other leaders of the people began planning how to kill him. But they could think of nothing because all the people hung on every word he said. Psalm 88, 1 through 18. O Lord, God of my salvation, I cry out to you by day. I come to you at night. Now hear my prayer. Listen to my cry. For my life is full of troubles and death draws near. I am as good as dead, like a strong man with no strength left. They have left me among the dead, and I like a corpse in a grave. I am forgotten, cut off from your care. You have thrown me into the lowest pit, into the darkest depths. Your anger weights me down. With wave after wave, you have engulfed me. You have driven my friends away by making me repulsive to them. I am in a trap with no way of escape. My eyes are blinded by my tears. Each day I beg for your help, O Lord. I lift my hands to you for mercy. Are your wonderful deeds of any use to the dead? Do the dead rise up and praise you? Can those in the grave declare your unfailing love? Can they proclaim your faithfulness in the place of destruction? Can the darkness speak of your wonderful deeds? Can anyone in the land of forgetfulness talk about your righteousness? O Lord, I cry out to you. I will keep on pleading day by day. O Lord, why do you reject me? Why do you turn your face from me? I have been sick and close to death since my youth. I stand helpless and desperate before your terrors. Your fierce anger has overwhelmed me. Your terrors have paralyzed me. They swirl around me like flood waters all day long. They have engulfed me completely. You have taken away my companions and loved ones. Darkness is my closest friend. Proverbs 13 through 12 and 14. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a dream fulfilled is a tree of life. People who despise advice are seeking for trouble. Those who respect a command will succeed. The instructions of the wise is like a life-giving fountain. Those who accept it avoid the snares of death. Let's read that again. There's such a truth about this. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a dream fulfilled is a tree of life. People who despise advice are seeking for trouble. Those who respect a command will succeed. The instruction of the wise is like a life-giving fountain. Those who accept it avoid the snares of death. My gosh. You know, when you're not seeking God on a daily basis, when you're not following Him, it's just insane. You know, because people are going through so much. I mean, so much. Yet, knowing about Jesus and have followed His path before, they just keep on going and making mistakes and I don't know. You know, I completely understand because I was exactly the same way. I was raised Pentecostal. I mean, I know it was damaging to us because it was about religion. I mean, it was Pharisees and Sadducees in our church. My grandfather was a Pentecostal pastor, and honestly, knowing and have read the Bible 8 times already, he had no knowledge of God. He had no relationship with Jesus. I can actually say it today. and not to offend my ancestor, but he had no clue what he was preaching about. Seriously, no clue. It was all about regulations that they took little by little from the entire Bible, and they just focused on that, and it had nothing to do with us. It had everything to do with a culture for that time. It wasn't for us, and it wasn't even Bible based. I mean, my entire family is still believing in that religion, because it was never about a relationship with Jesus. Because I grew up, I wanted nothing to do with God. I wanted nothing to do with the church. To this point, I will not go to a Spanish speaking church based on that law, because it has nothing to do with a relationship with Jesus. It took me forever to go back to Jesus's feet, to go back to this amazing life. I mean, it took me so long, and I made so many mistakes, and I was self-destructing. It was all about destruction. I didn't want anything healthy. All I wanted to do was destroy my soul, my mind. I mean, I was so sick mentally, and in my heart. I was hurting so much, and that's all I knew. So that's what I was following, because it was known to me. It was accustomed. It was comfortable. It's funny. It's funny right now to think that heartache and rejection was my norm, and that's what I needed, and that's what I was looking for years, so many years. And then God, I guess he had enough. And I went back to church, and I decided, what, from now on it's going to be completely different. I'm going to change my ways completely, because my ways didn't work, and they were leading me to, seriously, death. It was just leading me to hell. So I gave it a try, something completely new. Once again, I was raised in church, but I didn't know anything about Jesus. So it was something completely new, brand new. And in my transition, I know our pastor was preaching on Resurrection Day about transition. Transitions are hard, so hard. I remember it took me about 2 years to detox. 2 years to detox from that former life. And I cried so much. And, to be honest with you, and in transparency, I was so suicidal, because I couldn't take it. I couldn't take that transition. It was so hard. I know God wasn't gonna, bring me to a brand new life to allow me to go to hell. No. I mean, I just needed to detox, and I do remember those days. I couldn't pray. All I could do was read the Psalms, nothing else. My Bible was full of my tears. It was so wet of my tears, because it was gushing. I mean, it was like a spring, like a river, like a fall. I remember visiting the Niagara Falls. It was like that. I mean, it was so hard. But after that detox, and I started reading the Bible, my life changed completely. I mean, completely, to this point. If you know me now personally, you will not recognize the person that I was before. I was angry. I was super nice, let me tell you. on the surface, I was super nice and calm and collected. In my heart and my mind, I was so angry. I was so hurt. I mean, it was so dark. Inside of me, everything was so dark. But the Bible says that everything that is brought to light, it will come out of the darkness. And it did. Painfully, but it did. And when I was reading the Psalm today, most of the time, a lot of the Psalms, King David wrote them. And it's so funny because, once again, with our background, I hear, especially, my siblings, the ones that I got super close recently. And every time something happens, and I talk to especially my brother, most of the time him, we have a really close relationship. And every time something happens, he's always blaming God. Because that's how we were raised, because, everything is, it's God either blessing us or punishing us. And there's nothing in between. It's either or. And, I've come to realize that we just live in a fallen world. So things just happen because it's life. If you hit yourself with a corner table and it hurts so much, or stupid stuff like that, they will blame God. I'm like, come on, give me a break. Like, seriously. I'm like, dude, God did not. We are not puppets. He's not up there with the string, leading us here and there. And, oh, you know what? You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Then let's give you cancer. Oh, if you're living a righteous path, then you know what? Let's send you $1,000 check, surprise, in the mail. It doesn't work like that. But that is the mentality in my family and a lot of the Pentecostals, and it's so sad. It is so sad because you're living in this constant, thank you, Jesus. Oh, give me a break, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Forgive me. Please don't give me, anything bad. It's, guys, it's just insane. It's so unhealthy. And I'm leading him. Honestly, I am leading him. Every time I talk to him, he's serving the Lord right now. And, I know that he's going through that detox that I went through. And before, we used to talk and nobody could have a different opinion. Like, he will reject any different opinion of his, anything. But God is working miracles. Miracles in his body. I've told you before, he has cancer. And I keep telling him, God did not give you cancer. The God that I read about on a daily basis doesn't do that. He's not here to inflict sickness or diseases or pain upon us. He loves us so much. We just went through Holy Week. And we know that he died for us and he went through all of that. Seriously, to give us cancer and pain? No. He's not here to do that. Life, we're going through that. What we're eating, the environment, everything that we're going through life is causing these diseases. It's not God, but he will use whatever we're going through for his glory and to help us open our eyes and help us change completely in our perspective. You know what I mean? So I keep talking to him about it, like, you know what, he's not punishing you for whatever you did before, because if that was the case, we will all be dead by now, because we were all stupid our entire lives and we still make stupid decisions. But if you think about it that way, rather, once again, we will all be dead, all of us, because we have made mistakes, some more than others, and terrible mistakes, and some others are just stupidity. But we all have a lifetime of mistakes, so we will all be dead if that was the case. And in the Psalms, that's what he does. It reminded me of my brother. That's what he does. He's always blaming God, like, oh my gosh, like, what are you doing? You're killing me. I mean, my enemies and everybody, I'm in such darkness and all that. But when we start reading about King David, if you haven't heard his story, everybody talk about this amazing King David, but the mistakes that he made, I mean, this guy, it was nonstop. I mean, seriously, nonstop, making mistakes, sinning against God. I mean, on a daily basis. Guys, check out this crane. He's coming up. I don't know if you can see it. He's coming up. I guess he's seeing that I'm reading. Can you see it? Anyways, there's a crane crossing by it, and I love nature around us. And he's going towards my house because we have the bird feeders, and they fall on the ground, so they go over there to eat. Anyways, sorry, I got distracted by nature and God's perfect creation. Anyway, so you'll realize what I'm talking about if you have a good memory, not like mine. That David is always blaming God for things happening to him, but he kept making the craziest mistakes. I mean, I don't want to spoil it. I know it's not a novel, but you'll hear about King David. Everybody talks about how amazing King David was, but when you read about him, it's insane. And that alone should be encouraging us, because this King David was crazy, sinful, and yet God put him as a king that everybody talks about, and everybody, I mean, everybody, if you don't know about him, everybody knows about him. But if you don't know about him, you will later in the Bible. And this guy was made an amazing king, was filthy rich. I mean, you think Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and, oh my gosh, and the Gates and all these people? No. Nothing compares to King David. And God used him. So if he could use King David, hey, here we are. Use us. So anyways, I think I talked way too much today. I just wanted to say that was in my mind, and I hope it encourages you. I hope it helps you, and I hope it's good for you. God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow.